There is a reason why you can't stop overthinking, and it has nothing to do with weakness, lack of discipline, or something being wrong with you. In fact, what you are experiencing is a completely natural response from your brain, one that has been built into your mind over thousands of years, and one that is still active even in situations where it is no longer necessary. Every day, you find yourself replaying conversations, analyzing decisions, imagining different outcomes, and questioning things that already happened or things that haven't even happened yet. And even when you are aware that it is not helping you, even when you feel exhausted by it, your mind continues to go back to the same thoughts, as if it cannot let them go. You try to distract yourself, you try to tell yourself to stop, you try to move on, but somehow, those thoughts keep returning, stronger and more persistent each time. It feels like your mind is stuck in a loop, repeating the same patterns over and over again, creating a sense of urgency that makes it hard to ignore. And the more you try to push those thoughts away, the more they seem to come back, almost as if your mind is resisting your attempt to control it. But what if overthinking is not the real problem? What if it is simply a signal, a symptom of something deeper happening inside your brain? Because once you begin to understand what is actually happening beneath the surface, you start to realize that the issue is not that you think too much, but that you don't yet understand why your thinking behaves the way it does. And that realization is the first step toward changing it. Overthinking is one of the most common mental patterns in modern life, and yet it is also one of the most misunderstood. Most people believe that overthinking is simply a bad habit, something they need to stop or control. But this perspective often leads them to fight against their own mind instead of understanding it. Your brain is not trying to harm you, and it is not working against you, even though it may feel that way at times. It is actually trying to protect you, using mechanisms that were designed to help humans survive in environments where danger was constant and immediate. Thousands of years ago, the ability to anticipate threats, analyze situations, and prepare for possible outcomes was essential for survival, because reacting too late could have serious consequences. However, in today's world, most of the situations you encounter are not life-threatening, yet your brain continues to apply the same strategies. Instead of helping you, these strategies create unnecessary stress, anxiety, and mental loops that feel overwhelming and difficult to escape. The problem is not that your brain is broken, but that it is using an outdated system in a modern context. And if you want to understand how to deal with overthinking, you first need to understand why your brain keeps doing it in the first place. Your brain has a very strong resistance to uncertainty, and this is one of the main reasons why overthinking happens so frequently. Whenever you face a situation that is unclear, incomplete, or unresolved, your mind immediately tries to fill in the gaps with possible explanations. It does not wait for confirmation, and it does not require solid evidence, because its primary goal is not accuracy, but certainty. Uncertainty feels uncomfortable, and your brain interprets that discomfort as something that needs to be resolved as quickly as possible. This is why you find yourself replaying situations, trying to understand what happened, what someone meant, or what could happen next. Your brain is not searching for truth, it is searching for closure, and even if the explanation it creates is incorrect, it still feels better than having no explanation at all. This process creates a cycle, where each thought leads to another question, and each question leads to another attempt to find certainty. Instead of reducing confusion, your mind increases it by adding more layers of interpretation and doubt. Over time, this becomes an automatic response, and you start overthinking without even realizing it. One of the reasons overthinking is so difficult to stop is because it feels like you are doing something productive. When you think about a situation repeatedly, it creates the impression that you are gaining control over it, as if analyzing it more will eventually lead to clarity or a solution. But most of the situations you overthink are not problems that can be solved through thinking alone. They are emotional experiences, uncertainties, or events that require action, acceptance, or simply time. The more you think, the more it feels like you are preparing yourself, but in reality, you are only reinforcing the same mental loop. This is why overthinking becomes addictive. It gives you a temporary sense of control, even though it does not actually solve anything. And because it feels useful, you continue doing it without realizing that it is keeping you stuck in the same cycle. Your brain is naturally drawn to problems because problems require attention, and attention is what keeps your mind active. When everything is calm and stable, your brain begins to search for something to analyze, something to question, something to fix. This is why even when things are going well, you may still find yourself overthinking. Your mind is constantly scanning your environment for potential issues, even when none exist. It is not trying to create problems intentionally, but it is wired to detect them. And when it cannot find real problems, it starts creating hypothetical ones. These imagined problems feel just as real as actual ones, and they trigger the same emotional responses. This keeps your brain engaged, even if it comes at the cost of your peace of mind. A large part of overthinking is focused on the past, where your mind revisits moments that have already happened, trying to find mistakes or things that could have been done differently. You replay conversations, decisions, and actions, analyzing them from different angles, searching for something you might have missed. But the past cannot be changed, no matter how many times you revisit it, and yet your brain continues to return to it, as if analyzing it more will somehow give you control over it. This creates a loop where you are mentally stuck in moments that no longer exist, experiencing the same emotions again and again. At the same time, your mind is constantly projecting itself into the future, imagining possible outcomes and scenarios. This is where anxiety often comes from, because your brain tends to focus on negative possibilities rather than neutral or positive ones. You imagine things going wrong, situations failing, or outcomes that lead to discomfort. These thoughts feel real, even though they have not happened, and your body reacts as if they were happening, creating stress and tension. Once a thought appears in your mind, it almost never stays alone, and this is one of the most important things to understand about overthinking. A single thought has the ability to generate multiple new thoughts in a matter of seconds, creating a chain reaction that quickly grows beyond your control. You might start with a simple idea, something small and almost insignificant, but as your mind begins to analyze it, it expands into something much larger. For example, a simple memory of a conversation can quickly turn into a series of questions, doubts, and imagined outcomes, each one feeding into the next. Your brain does not just think, it connects, and every connection creates another pathway for more thoughts to emerge. This is why overthinking feels like it is accelerating, because your mind is not just repeating one idea, it is constantly producing new variations of it. The more attention you give to the initial thought, the more material your brain has to work with, and the more it continues generating additional thoughts. This creates a loop that feels endless, because there is always another angle to consider, another possibility to explore, another interpretation to analyze. And since your brain is trying to find certainty, it keeps going, believing that the next thought might finally provide the answer it is looking for. But that answer rarely comes. Instead, the process itself becomes the focus, and you get stuck in a cycle where thinking leads to more thinking, without resolution. This is why overthinking can feel exhausting, because your mind is constantly active, constantly producing, and never reaching a point of rest. Over time, this pattern becomes automatic, and your brain begins to generate these chains of thoughts without any conscious effort. You are no longer choosing to think about something, your mind is doing it on its own. And the longer this continues, the more natural it feels, until it becomes your default way of processing reality. One of the biggest reasons overthinking becomes so powerful is because you treat your thoughts as if they are true, without questioning them. When a thought appears in your mind, you don't pause to analyze whether it is accurate or not, you simply accept it as a reflection of reality. This automatic belief gives your thoughts a level of authority that they don't actually deserve. Instead of observing your thoughts from a distance, you become involved in them, reacting emotionally and mentally as if they were facts. The more you engage with a thought, the stronger it becomes, because your attention reinforces it. Your brain interprets your attention as a signal that the thought is important, and as a result, it continues to bring it back again and again. This is how a single idea can turn into a persistent pattern. You think about it, you react to it, and your reaction makes it more likely to return. Over time, this creates a feedback loop where your thoughts feel increasingly real, even if they were never based on truth in the first place. This is why it can be so difficult to step away from overthinking. because it does not feel like you are dealing with random ideas. It feels like you are dealing with something meaningful and important. But the reality is that many of the thoughts you believe are simply automatic responses generated by your brain. They are not always logical, they are not always accurate, and they are not always useful. And learning to see that difference is one of the most important steps in breaking the cycle. At some point, you become aware of your overthinking, and your first instinct is to try to stop it. You tell yourself to relax, to let go, to stop thinking so much, but the more you try to force your mind to stop, the more resistant it becomes. This happens because your brain interprets resistance as importance. When you try to push a thought away, you are actually giving it more attention, and that attention makes it stronger. It is similar to trying not to think about something specific, because the act of trying not to think about it requires you to think about it in the first place. This creates a paradox where the more you try to stop overthinking, the more you reinforce the pattern. Your brain starts to associate those thoughts with something that needs to be addressed, something that cannot be ignored. As a result, it continues to bring them back, even more frequently. This is why many people feel like they are losing control of their own thoughts, because the harder they try to stop them, the more persistent they become. The problem is not the thoughts themselves, but the way you respond to them. Fighting your mind creates tension, and that tension keeps the cycle alive. Understanding this changes the way you approach the problem. Instead of trying to eliminate thoughts, you begin to change how you interact with them. Overthinking is not a flaw, and it is not something that means there is something wrong with you. It is a system that is working exactly as it was designed to, but in a context where it no longer serves you the way it once did. Your mind is trying to protect you, to prepare you, and to give you a sense of control, even if the method it uses is not always helpful. And once you understand that, you stop seeing overthinking as an enemy and you start seeing it as something you can work with. Because the goal is not to silence your mind, but to understand it. And when you understand it, you stop being controlled by it. You begin to see your thoughts for what they are: temporary, automatic, and not always accurate. And that changes everything.